Welcome to Martini Time. I wasn't sure if I wanted to come and talk with you tonight or not. I started my martini. Had nothing to say. You know, I'm just kind of tired. Unless I have something that just kind of like pops up, you know, that wants to speak, I really don't have to have a martini time. But anyway, I'm sitting in there listening to MSNBC, and they're talking about Hillary's talk or recent interview about the election and why she lost it, and I just gotta, you know, just the cable TV, cable news, and the 24/7 commentary reminds me of my own mind when it won't shut up. It's just everything, you know, and this is what we live in. I'm not finding fault with it in the sense that this is what it is, but this constant commentary is both addictive and disturbing, in the sense that I know from my own experience, you know, that so I've got the TV on in my office, and there's this constant talking about every minutia that happens, and it's always divided into opposite points of view. There is no coming out and saying this is what is and that's it. It's always this or that. No matter what anyone says, there is an opposite opinion about it. And this is just the way the thing works. If it was all about just this is the truth and that's it, no commentary about it, it would be Pat Robertson's 700 Club. In other words, so this constant dissecting and pulling apart is both disturbing and yet it's also interesting. And I think, you know, just like why do we think? What is thinking anyway? But thinking is created by attention. When you're all by yourself, sitting on the front porch, maybe walking in the backyard, sitting in the backyard, having a martini, and there's no tension, unless you've got some problem, there's very little thinking. But as soon as there's a problem, as soon as there's a tension, let's say tension, thinking is created by the tension as a means to get rid of the tension, because tension is pain. It's painful. If you go to massage therapy, this massage therapist gets rid of the tension. You see, so tension is a strain, you see, and the mind has tensions. And so we mistakenly try to get rid of tension by thinking. And then we create a monoduologue or a monologue, which we're all familiar with, when there's a tension in the mind, something happened that we wish hadn't happened, or we should have done something, somebody hurt us or something, and that creates a monologue or thinking going around it, and you can actually watch that. And it's a little whirlpool of thinking, trying to get rid of the thorn or the tension through thinking, and you can't do it. Thinking can't get rid of tension. Thinking creates more tension. So, I'm just taking kind of a wide-angle view at the cable news. You know, this is a recent invention, I think. I don't know, CNN was the first one. But when, you know, before cable news, you had network news, so you had only a half hour in the evening. And there weren't any talking heads. There wasn't any duality there. Walter Cronkite or Chet Huntley or whatever, they came up and tell you what it was. So there was just one voice, and they just told you what happened, and that was it. But now with cable news, when cable came in, now you have talking heads, and you have the everything that happens is a discussion of opposite views, or maybe not opposite views, but alternate views. So it's opinion. Everybody has a little different opinion. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on there. So we listen to the opinions, and they're endless. See, so everything that happens will create an infinity of opinions about it. And so I'm wondering if this invention of cable news is not something that happened solitary. Everything happens in context. So this kind of like happened in the context of the evolution of our American consciousness. So cable news then actually is a way that we use to take the tension out of the conflict in the modern world. And so cable news is kind of like our minds that's just thinking about tension, trying to get rid of the tension through comments. And so looking at it from that way, the rise of cable news and the talking heads and the rise of this fundamental tension in the American psyche all rise together. This is part of the Buddhist teachings. There's no cause and effect in the Buddhist view. Everything rises together. Everything rises as one. It's like a sunken city rising up in the ocean. Maybe the ocean drops, but it all rises up together. It doesn't rise up one thing causing another thing to rise up, and then another thing rises up like that. It's not a linear rising. It's all of it rises together. So everything rises together. Everything is interrelated. So cable news, the talking heads, the constant chatter, the constant opinions, the commenting, the endless opinionating, you see, basically is a psyche, a collective American psyche. And this cable news and the proliferation and the fragmentation of what originally was just 3 networks into infinite number of choices. It's kind of like you go to the Walmart, and I remember when I was growing up, you had Quaker Oats and Wheaties and Corn Flakes and Cheerios and maybe a few more, and that was it. And now you've got a canyon of choices. They keep adding more choices. So we keep adding more opinion. And it creates entertainment, interest, as if we hope the next opinion will solve the tension. It's just as if the next, I'm watching because the next opinion may be the idea that solves the tension. And of course it won't happen, because every opinion, well, it's kind of like having a martini with a lemon twist. Every opinion is a lemon twist. So the lemon, you see, is reality, and every opinion is just a little sliver of the lemon. You see, so I just made that up. So you never, since reality is infinite, in the sense that reality is always changing, the opinions about reality are infinite. You can never arrive at an opinion about reality that stops reality from changing and says, aha, I've got it. So there is no arriving at, aha, I understand, I see it all, through lemon twists or through opinions. Because the opinion, the reality is a changing organism, let's put it that way. You can't even name it, because when you name it, you don't have it. So, being or reality is living, and it's changing, it's creating itself. Kind of like a fountain. It's not like a river, it's a fountain. Reality is bubbling itself, creating itself. So it's always new. If you sit there and meditate on a fountain, it becomes a fascinating meditation because it's constantly changing. You can't find any repetition in a fountain, even though it's the same fountain. So it's the same fountain, but it's constantly, infinitely different. So reality is like that. Reality is constantly, infinitely different, yet it's always now. You see. So the opinions try to snapshot reality. So, aha, there it is. A selfie. That's it. I captured it, you see. But as soon as you capture it, it's already moved on. So you're already past tense. So every opinion is already past tense. There's no opinion or intellectual theory or philosophy or religion that can capture the fountain, because the fountain is always changing. You see, so yet, because we live in a mind that thinks, and we now live in a collective mind that is the media. So the media is a collective, American collective psyche that thinks just like our mind and has the same operating system as the mind, because the mind invented the media. Nobody other than us invented the media. So whatever you invent comes out of your own mind, and everything is a reflection of the Creator. You're the Creator. The human mind is the Creator. So the reality we live in is our creation. So it reflects us. We don't create a reality that we don't already have or know, you see. So it's always a mirror image. Reality is always a reflection of our own mind. And but the great deceiver, you see, the great illusion is that something else created reality and I just live in it. And I'm a victim of it, you see. But no, we are a victim of our reality, but we're also the creator of our reality. So we're really creator victims, in the sense that we create a reality and then we live in it, and the reality we created creates us. So we're both, you see. But the thinking tries to figure this ambiguity out with clear and distinct ideas, you see. So reality is ambiguous. It's both. We are both the creator of the world, and we are created by the world, you see. Like a painter. There's a lot of images of the painter. Norman Rockwell or whatever, he's painting a picture and he's in it. And we've had some movies where you're in the movie and also creating the movie. There's a particular convention in plays. I don't know who started it, maybe Shakespeare, but you have the play, which is the created reality, and suddenly the actor turns and looks at you and says, and invites you into the play. He breaks the spell, you see. So the spell of the world is that we are created by it, and we're just a thing in the world, and we have to struggle and compete and be the best and number one, you see, in this world that's created by some force, God, nature, universe, chance, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. That whether God created it or chance created it makes no difference, because it's still something external to us created it, and we're in it. That's a spell. That's an illusion. It misses the fact that we create the world we live in. That each of us creates a world and then lives in it, you see. And our particular cultural or civilization of the West, you see, just opts for a world that is created externally and then we live in it, because science works with that paradigm. Science doesn't work if you're the creator of the world you're experimenting with. The Middle Ages, called alchemy, their science had these two mixed up. Quantum physics is coming to the point where it will say that the observer or the scientist creates, or his perception creates the experiment and the results. So that whatever the experiment you create creates the results that you then believe are external to you, that are objective and exist outside of you. But nothing exists outside of you. Nothing exists outside of me, and yet it does. So there's this fundamental ambiguity of reality that logic cannot handle, that opinions can't handle. So this puzzle, you see, that of this enigma of, do I create the world or am I created? Do I define myself or am I defined? Who am I? Am I defined by others? If I am, I certainly get angry when somebody else judges me. Or do I define others? Am I the creator of the world? Then why do I, if I create the world, why do I suffer in it? So there is an ambiguity here that logic and opinions and constant talking and yada, 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 no matter how much it tries, cannot solve, you see. So it just keeps generating more talking. And so anyway, I'm just kind of like reflecting on the endless commentary of cable news, MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, whatever. It's all the same in the sense that it's all opinionation. Endless opinionation, you see. And so the whole practice of meditation, spiritual practice, is to basically do this, where look at all the opinions, and if I just sit, and if I just stop moving, and if I just be here, just this moment, all the opinions settle, and there's a great clarity, you see. So anyway, thanks for dropping in, and I'll see you in the morning.